morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we got news about Crimson Haze. Now, what's really weird is overnight, when we would often end up getting new card reveals for a Japanese set, that didn't happen. There were no new card reveals. Which is especially a little bit weird because next week, next Friday, is going to be the full reveal of the set. The set's out in 2 weeks. We know what Japan does at this stage. They put the full set list online, not including secret rares, on exactly 1 week before the release date, the Friday before release. That's next Friday. Fine. So I expected a bunch of reveals tonight. Didn't get a bunch of reveals. But what we did get were a bunch of sleeves and stuff, which are always kind of interesting. But today they are especially interesting because they've basically, well, not basically, they have gone and confirmed some stuff which is coming in the set, and that is very, very, very exciting. Take these sleeves, for instance. Now, there's nothing new in these sleeves, just to be clear. These are the Crimson Haze sleeves. And obviously deck box. And it's exactly what we would expect. It is the booster pack artwork of Crimson Haze whacked onto sleeves and onto a deck box exactly like we would generally get. Cool. Job's a good un. And I suppose we should talk about how much they cost, shouldn't we? Not to be, rude. So the deck box is coming in at 500 yen. Which, incidentally, 500 yen is incredibly cheap for a deck box. You're talking $3.40 or £2.60, just very, very cheap for a deck box. And then we got the sleeves, which come in at 889 yen. So 889 yen, if we pop that into dollars, comes in at pretty much exactly $6. And pounds, you're looking at £4.70. Nice and cheap, job's a good un. But there's nothing here which is particularly interesting. Not in a bad way, not in a mean way. But it's Crimson Haze. We knew we were going to get Crimson Haze sleeves and deck box. We always get sleeves and deck box using the booster pack artwork of the set that releases at the same time as the set. This is a thing. As a side note, all of this is releasing on the 22nd of March, which of course you would expect. That is the release date of the set. And we always get a merch drop releasing on the same day as the set. The thing is, the merch we get on the same day as a set always links into the set. So take these sleeves, for instance, and deck box again. We got Perin, sleeves, and deck box. And obviously we've got ourselves a Hisuian Growlithe here, because, if you played the game, that will make perfect sense to you. Same price as the ones I just told you about, so we don't need to get into that. But they are sleeves and deck box featuring Perin, which is lovely, and Perin is a supporter card coming in, a new set, of course. I showed you the full art version of it the other day, so these sleeves match up with what's coming in the set very nicely. The card as a whole, incidentally, is basically double Pokemon communication, so you put 2 Pokemon, up to, from your hand into your deck, and then you go and swap them for 2 other Pokemon in your deck. You swap 2 Pokemon in your hand for 2 in your deck, job's a good un, move on with your life. Lovely. The thing is, we then also went and got a bunch of sleeves and stuff that were revealed for stuff we haven't seen. And this generally doesn't happen. Usually, by the time they come and show us the merch, they've gone and shown us all the relevant cards, so I can sit here and go, well, the sleeves are for Perin and this is for that and blah, blah, blah. But they've gone and kind of done it the other way round today. Like, for instance, these Tera Greninja sleeves. Now, we actually knew that fighting Tera-type Greninja was coming. This is not a new thing. This is not completely unknown, because remember the image that they went and put out in advance of Pokemon Day, basically had a bunch of unrevealed cards on. Now, it wasn't all unrevealed cards, there were plenty of them on there, including, of course, the Blood Moon Ursaluna from this very set. And we saw that there were a bunch of previously released cards. Charizard is on there from Obsidian Flames. And then there were some cards which are blatantly from the next set. Ogerpon is clearly from the next set, Mask of Change, not from Crimson Haze. But then we saw this fighting type Tera Greninja. And we didn't know where it was coming. We had no idea which set it was in, and we really didn't have any information on which to make a decent prediction. Because it was on this picture with some cards that have been revealed, some from the next set coming, some from the next set after, and it was all a bit up in the air. Well, now we know it's coming in Crimson Haze. How do we know that this is coming in Crimson Haze and not the following set? Because it's a set of sleeves which is releasing on the same day as Crimson Haze, and we have seen this over and over again for years at this stage. When they release sleeves, etc. on the same day as the set, they match up with the set. Sometimes we get exceptions because they're just fancy Pikachu sleeves or whatever. And as a side note, there is an exception this time round. So we do have those Scramble Battle sleeves I showed you the other day. Remember, you can't just buy these. You have to enter a tournament, and then when you finish the tournament, you then have to enter a lottery, and then you can buy these. So these sleeves, I think, are going to be pretty exclusive. Standard sleeves, standard price, all of that. But you can only buy them from a lottery, and you can only enter the lottery when you enter a tournament and finish the tournament. So, yeah. Just be a little bit careful with these. They're not going to be that hard to find. So there are exceptions here and there, but the exceptions are stuff like that, or like Pikachu. They don't just give you a random Tera-type Greninja sleeve coming along with a set that doesn't have a Tera fighting Greninja. It doesn't happen, alright? The existence of these sleeves tells us it's coming in this set. Why was it not revealed today? Oh, that is an excellent question. Feels like this would have been a great day to go and reveal that, and I wish I could give you some kind of answer as to why that didn't happen. I can't, unfortunately. Which is really super annoying. So, sorry about that. But the thing is, this is getting very, very interesting. Because now all of a sudden, we're starting to kind of stack up Greninja EXs. We had the one that came around as a promo with Torrential Slash, 240 to a Pokemon with damage on for 2 water energy. And part of the problem with that was it wasn't quite good enough. And it's a stage 2, and that becomes the problem. But now we're going to have this fighting type Tera Greninja. And now things are getting interesting. And I showed you Charizard earlier. Remember, Tera-type Pokemon generally still use their regular energy. So in the same way that Charizard uses fire energy, we can expect that the fighting type Tera Greninja will be using water energy. So you can actually play these two together quite nicely. I suppose at this point I have to mention that there is another Greninja EX. It's in the Battle Academy over in Japan, and it's terrible, but there is a third Greninja EX, and it would be unfair of me not to mention it here, but just to be clear, yeah. Basically, it's 100 damage, flip a coin, if heads it does 200. It's not good enough. So that's kind of awesome, but the other thing we saw were Lana sleeves. Lana is coming back to the Pokemon TCG. There's no way, I'm sorry, I refuse to believe this. There is no way that on the same day we get a set dropped, with a bunch of merch accompanying the set drop, that we get Lana sleeves and there isn't a Lana in the set. Absolutely refuse to believe it. Now, what we could end up seeing here is just a straight reprint of the Lana that we got way back in Burning Shadows. It heals 50 damage from each of your Pokemon with any water energy attached to it. And if I may be so bold as to say so, I really hope it's not a reprint of that card. That's not a good card. Is anyone sitting there right now being like, Wassie's got a point. I want that card to come back. No! No one is sitting here watching this video going, mate, I really hope we get a reprint of Lana. The good news is, there's a very good chance it's not a reprint. Last time we saw this, we had confirmation that Bianca was coming back. And we now know that in Temporal Forces, we're not getting Bianca, as it used to be, where you draw until you got 6 cards in your hand. No. This is a brand new Bianca. So, there's a very good chance, an excellent chance, that we do actually get a new Lana card that does something different. And of course, you got the other example where we had Corinna, which used to be a card that searched out fighting Pokemon and item cards, which was cool. And then we got a new Korrina, which weirdly is Bianca. Like exactly the same as Bianca, although that is now rotating. So I think that the recent history tells us that although we are getting a new Lana, and look, we're getting a new Lana at this stage, we're not just getting a straight reprint. Now we could, that is absolutely possible, let me be clear, but I think the recent history is pointing us away from that. What's it going to do? Probably something to do with water Pokemon, if we're honest. So yay! Oh, as a side note, I should have mentioned the Greninja sleeves are actually premium gloss, which makes them slightly more expensive than normal. They are 990 yen, which is $6.70 or £5.25. You needed to know that, and now you do. In terms of other products that have gone and been revealed, there are actually some random Pikachu and Sprigatito sleeves. I'm not sure if this actually tells us we're getting a Meowscarada in the set, because we do sometimes just get random Pikachu sleeves, though bear this in mind, we absolutely could be getting a Meowscarada. And there's also a damage counter set, bunch of fancy damage counters, an EX coin, and then poison and burn markers. So yay! As a fun little side note, for those of you that don't read Japanese, the poison and burn markers have Doku and Yakudo written on top of them, which is burn and poison in Japanese, so you can use them to look for those terms in Japanese Pokemon cards. I don't have much to say about these. Japan does actually use damage counters, whereas we use dice most of the time, so that's kind of cool. It's why Japan keeps getting these damage counter sets and we don't. Japanese players tend to use these, we really don't, we use dice. It's coming out for 1,430 yen. So if anybody's looking to pick this up, they're going to be paying around about $9.70 or £7.60. And damage counters are cool. Maybe you want to pick them up. The big stories here are that we've got the Tera-type fighting Greninja and Lana, which have now been confirmed by these sleeves, and that's kind of weird. But now it's over to you guys. Give me your predictions for Greninja and Lana. Tell me anything you want to tell me in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. And get shout-outs on the channel like the lovely Eric Ridgway, who's been a supporter of ours for quite a while now and seems to be a very lovely person. So shout-out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.